Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Now up, we have Creating a World Where Every Child Has the Opportunity to Play. I'd like to introduce Pam Mastrata. Pam?
Thank you so much, Anne. Welcome, everyone. I am the executive director of the Toy Foundation, and we put this esteemed panel together to talk to you about the importance of play and the philanthropic efforts of the toy industry. The Toy Foundation is committed to really amplifying the philanthropy of the industry. We are the foundation of the Toy Association, which, as you've experienced in the last few days, has put on this amazing toy fair. So I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you today about play and the importance of that. So I'm going to have my panelists introduce themselves, their titles, what they do with their organizations, and then we'll get started. Nancy, can we start with you?
Yes, sure, of course. Thank you, Pam, for putting this panel together. I'm thrilled to be here. My name is Nancy Melinda, and I'm the executive director for the Mattel Children's Foundation and our corporate philanthropy. And we are proud partners of the Toy Foundation, and I'm thrilled to be here with our other panelists who we have worked with and enjoy supporting.
Hi, I'm Lori Strongen. I'm the founder and CEO of Washington, D.C.-based Hope for Henry Foundation. And we are the very fortunate partners of both the Toy Foundation and Mattel. And we work with hospitalized kids around the country to ensure that they have the benefit of play during a really hard time in their lives.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. My name is Lynne Corry. I am the founder and executive director of Giving Friends. We distribute gifts and toys to children and families living in crisis, in treatment, shelters, and transitional housing throughout New York City and Westchester. And I'm just so grateful and honored to be considered up here with these lovely women. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Deb Silver. I'm the Community Relations Manager at Jazzwares, and that includes Jazzwares Cares, which is our philanthropic arm. We are also proud partners of the Toy Foundation, and so excited to be here today.
Thank you so much, all of you, for being here today. I really want to start with, foundationally, why this is so important. You know, why is our corporate social responsibility philanthropy so important in this industry? Nancy, can we start with you?
Yes, absolutely. I believe basically we all feel that the marriage of business and purpose is all a very important part of the work that we do. And especially in the toy industry, as you all have seen today, I think on top of all that we do commercially, it's very important to make sure that we also are serving kids and families in need. And it's amazing to have a connection and organization to philanthropy that brings us all together as an industry to give back. We're all about play, and I think every child deserves the opportunity to play, and I think the philanthropic arm of all of our organizations know the importance and want to make sure that everybody is engaged in giving back.
So building off what Nancy said about how every child deserves to be able to play, one of the things that I didn't realize until I was the mother of a child who was very sick is that there are 16,000 kids who are in the hospital every day here in the US. And when you are diagnosed with something, whether it's something mild or complicated, you go into a hospital for treatment and you sort of go from being a kid to being a patient. And yet, when you're a patient, you're expected to do things that are really difficult to do. And it's almost impossible to do all of those things, to get IVs placed, to be hooked up to machines, without that sense of hope and optimism and magic that comes from being a child. And so by being able to bring some of that excitement of childhood, by bringing entertaining distractions and really the power of play and toys to these kids really allows them to heal so that they can get back home and do whatever they were doing prior to their diagnosis.
Thank you, Lori.
Yes, I am. I agree with that so much. And the families that we serve, the children in particular, like they don't know that their parents lost their homes. They don't know that their moms are on drugs. They don't know that just because their house burned down that they have nowhere else to go. And the migrant families, which are now also getting served by much of New York City, it's not their fault and they don't know. And Giving Friends delivers smiles to these children. And we can't do that. Like, as these families struggle to thrive and improve their lives, by giving a child a gift, a toy to play with that brings a smile to them and distracts them from the trauma and the drama that they are living through, and not even knowing it, but taking it away from the parent who can focus on the things that are the most important, like employment and housing and sobriety. And these are all things that that create, struggles. It's life. Like, we may know that, but these children don't. And when we are able to have the support and the kindness and generosity from donors and philanthropy and all the giving, that's why it was really easy to call our organization Giving Friends, because, without you folks, we can't deliver these smiles. And it is such a meaningful impact on these children. You could see it on their face instantly. Thank you.
For us in the toy industry, the bottom line is kids are why we are all here, and we firmly believe that all kids should have access to play regardless of their background. And for us, that is why philanthropy is just so important, because it is who we are and why we are all doing this.
Thank you so much. Nancy, I'm going to start with you. Just our partners, Jazzwares and Mattel, two of our important partners in the work that we do in donations, but also in funding our programs for children's. And Lori will get to the hospital program as well. But Nancy, why does helping children and families matter to Mattel? And why should it matter to the toy industry?
It's a great question, and I feel like it's such a no-brainer. I can't even imagine us not. It's really, I'm lucky to work for a company, and the same as Jazzwares, that we have designated groups of colleagues and employees that is what our job is. It should be ingrained into every toy company's giving business. That is what we're supposed to do. And so I think it's really important for us to educate not only our employees, but to be out in the community showing that we essentially at Mattel play it forward. And so it's really important to make sure that we're a company that gives back. And that we use our business resources in order to help the nonprofits that we connect with every day. As we've all just been saying, every kid deserves the opportunity to play and participate with our brands, and we are the teams that make sure that happens.
Thanks, Nancy. Deb, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree with, of course, everything that Nancy said. And then at Jazzwares, we are actually led by a husband and wife team, and they are very philanthropic, both personally and professionally. So not only are they kind of sitting on boards and helping children's hospitals, they are at every single event that we are at. They are attending the races, they are handing out the toys, and it creates a culture of giving kind of throughout our whole organization. I think we're very fortunate in that way, and I think when leadership sees the importance of giving back, it tends to spread throughout the whole organization.
Thanks, Deb. And I want to turn to our nonprofit partners. And our relationship is new, I'd say, within the last year, that the foundation has expanded its mission to really touch as many children's lives as possible and children in need. Lori, Hope for Henry, has been such a strong partner in our hospital grant program as well. What does it mean for you in this space, how our relationship has grown over the last 6 months especially? But any thoughts on that?
Yes, I think the relationship that we have with the Toy Foundation has enabled Hope for Henry to grow so much faster, because prior to our partnership, we have a program here, It's called Super Rewards for Super Kids, and it helps kids navigate particularly difficult medical procedures. So it maps out what the kids are having to do, and it helps them learn to cope with their diagnoses and their treatment. But one of the most important components of the program is that we reward kids when they're done. We say, you know what, you just did something tough today, and you have earned a reward, and it creates a positive association with their medical care, because inevitably they will have to go back. So at the end of their procedure, they are given a toy that is a hot toy, just like they would get if their own parent could run out to a toy store and buy it for them. These toys are all donated by partners like the Toy Foundation and all of the members who give, like Mattel, like Paramount. And as a result, before these partnerships were in place, we were at 6 hospitals, and we were purchasing all of the toys that kids wanted. In just the last 2 years, we have expanded to 38 hospitals. So Hope for Henry can focus on the development of these innovative tools and programs and make sure that as many kids at as many hospitals benefit from them. And we're doing that because of the generosity of the toy industry and the fact that all of you know that you can do well and do good all at the same time.
Great, thank you, Lori. Lynn, would you like to comment on that?
That's so inspiring. Your work is amazing. I'm just really impressed. And I ride on that wave right there with you. It's your giving makes me look like a rock star. I come in looking
You
like
are a rock star,
Yeah,
Lynn.
thank you. It's unbelievable to me. Just in the last few years, even with all the history and all the knocking on doors, it's hard to get this type of gifts to bring and deliver. And we started giving to one facility with 40 moms and 40 kids, and because of all the giving, last year in 2022, we gave to over 10,000 families. And that's a lot of toys. That's a lot of smiles. And we're going to continue to grow because of your generosities. We're so grateful. We have so many happy stories.
If I could just interject really fast, because I think I'm speaking for Deb and myself probably when I say this. When you hear these two women talk about the incredible work that they're doing for kids and families in need, that is absolutely why we gather every resource we can find within our companies to make sure they're successful. I don't really like to hear when you say you have to go purchase toys. We just by them reaching out and knowing that they have us as a resource, we've been able to double and triple their impact. And these are the organizations that we seek out to support within the toy industry and through the Toy Industry Foundation's Toy Bank. We have resources to give so that they can continue to work on what's important within their foundations, and that's actually getting on the ground and serving these families. And it's very easy for us to give our resources and toys. And so I know Deb and I are just thrilled to be able to continue the impact for these organizations.
I want to, I'm sure that you know this, but for kids, whether they're in shelters, whether they're in hospitals, what they are given communicates a lot, sort of the undergirding of it. So a lot of times, I know when my son Henry was in the hospital, a lot of people would just donate their leftover toys. And even though that's a generous and wonderful thing, it actually communicates that you're less than, or that you don't need something so great because you're not really going to be around that long. And in contrast to that, when kids are receiving toys that their friends are getting, that they're seeing on television or in the toy store, it communicates that we have not forgotten you. You're really important. You need something that's built to last because you're going to last too. And so it really matters. It really matters. It's not the dollar store. It's
Yeah.
it's the everything.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. When we started doing this 26 years ago, we would go shopping for toys based on whatever amount of money we would collect. And, you know, we couldn't keep up with it, like, you know, eh, energy or financially. And so when we grew and expanded, we, what you said, they matter. By giving them something of substance, it matters. And it shapes and forms a child's life. We bag up our holiday donation bundles as we get ready to distribute for holidays and all the events that we do. And we don't know the child that's actually getting that. We don't always have a list of what their interests are. But like when we're making these bags, we know that we're going to put this arts and crafts kit in this one, and we all do a little powwow saying, hopefully this child's going to be the next artist, and we really feel like it's really shaping the future of a child or giving them an opportunity that they may not have had because of you, because of your giving. It's wonderful.
Thank you. I think one of our initiatives, too, in working with Mattel and Jazzwares as well and other toy companies is to scale our program nationwide. So nonprofits like Hope for Henry and Giving Friends learn more about what we're doing, and we're able to provide product through the toy companies, but also provide the companies themselves, a CSR, a turnkey operation. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible to donate product and move product. So this today is Toy Collection after this incredible toy fair. So we collect close to 50,000 toys, which will go to New York City nonprofits, New York, the surrounding areas. So Giving Friends and Hope for Henry will also be recipients of that. So we thank Jazzwares and Mattel and all the companies here that are filling out forms today. And my team will be collecting toys along with incredible volunteers to help package these toys and get them to nonprofits. So I just wanted to mention that as well, because this is to scale. And to that point, Nancy, what can toy companies, how can toy companies be better partners with nonprofits?
I love this question because I think at Mattel we have started to really focus on, when we talk to nonprofits in our foundation, we make sure that it's about telling their story and not so much the story, of our kind of corporate foundation moment. It's about amplifying the nonprofits, and not only in the community, but to our employees as well. We really are kind of true employee engagement, sort of retention, if you will, as our philanthropic programs. And so when I think of corporations working with nonprofits, we just want to make sure that we're really amplifying their story. I think of ourselves as just the behind the scenes givers because, it's not just about what I give, it's about the connections and other resources in the community. When we amplify what these two ladies are doing with their organizations, it might spark the interest of someone else to want to give to them. And to me, that just means way more than just the Mattel connection to giving.
Deb, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I agree with everything that you just said, and we are behind the scenes kind of always making this happen. And I think that one of the important things, and this is why we're so grateful for the Toy Foundation, is that there are so many organizations out there, and it is these smaller boots on the ground nonprofit organizations that can really benefit from donations that might not be able to have the ability to get in touch with us or to know where to start in that outreach. So I think that being able to really make an impact with smaller groups is so important to us.
Thanks, Deb. And Lynn and Lori, I'm curious on your side, on the nonprofits, how we can be better partners with toy companies.
Well, it's funny. I was gonna point out ways that I think nonprofits can be great partners to you. And one of the things that we at Hope for Henry do is we do not take it for granted that that people should just give to us without accountability. And so we actually collect data on every child that we serve. And at this point, we've served 120,000 kids in our 20 years of operation. And we collect data that talks about the impact on their patient experience, the impact on their level of anxiety, their ability to cope, and even their ability to avoid sedation for medical procedures, so that we are able to come back to you and say, you know what, the fact that 75% of the kids who we're treating and who are enduring MRIs do not need to be sedated anymore, that's actually because of your generosity and your partnership with Hope for Henry. And so there is real impact beyond just the smiles that are obvious. But when we have partners like the Toy Foundation, like Mattel, hopefully like you moving forward, we actually share with you photographs of kids with the toys that you also generously donated. You could donate to so many different places, but we want you to understand the benefit of your donation through Hope for Henry and the impact that you're having. And I think that's what we owe back to our corporate partners in exchange for your generosity and the ability for us to do more.
Great, thanks, Lori. Lynn?
So impressive, really. For us, we have really been able to capitalize on social media and spread our the message of our mission, and show the footage over the years. Some of the children that we have served early on are now reaching out to want to participate and volunteer and give back and wrap gifts with us, and that's a real joy. But another thing that Giving Friends does is, because the need in our community is just so great, if you gave me 100 toys and I only had room for 50, I'm not hoarding another 50. I'm going to give it to another nonprofit partner, and that's how we're all in this together. And over the last few years, we have shared our halls with other local nonprofits. So it's like we just widen the net of our giving, because it doesn't just stop. And I'm not trying to collect dust on anything. The Ninja Turtles that we get today, nobody may want them next year. So we're going to make sure they get into the hands of a child immediately, if not sooner. So that's our game. We really want to make sure that we're all working together. We all have the same positive outcomes.
If I may just jump in for a moment, just to kind of piggyback off what you said about sharing the impact, that is my absolute favorite thing when that happens. And we love to be able to share that information with our team, because I think that, for myself and for Nancy, we're kind of seeing it quite often. But there are many people who work at Jazzwares, and to be able to send out a note and say, hey, this is what you all were able to help us accomplish today, it's unmeasurable in what it does for engagement. So thank you.
And even more so when we're able to report back impact even up at higher levels, I'm able to use that story to say, I need more toys.
Absolutely.
Right? And so look at this impact. And when you can tell the story and you can show a visual and that the supply chain of how it moves and gets into the hands of kids, help me pick up the phone and say, I need some more pallets of toys. And Toy Bank needs more toys because the impact is great and bigger than we've ever seen. So that's very helpful.
Thanks, Nancy. And that leads to one of my last questions about the story, because one of the charges for us in really building out our programs in the last 18 months has been, okay, and the board charged, you need to tell the story. What's the impact? So maybe more on a personal level, because the employee engagement piece is so important. But I'll just share a quick story. When we made a donation, and we had a donation from Paramount, who's a strong partner as well, and we went to Metro Child, a local nonprofit here in the Bronx, and participated in this makeshift carnival they brought and they set up for kids. And at the end of the program, we were able to provide a toy for each child that was there, about 200 children. And one of the gentlemen that was interviewed from Metro Child had said, this is what they deserve. This is, they may not have ever get a new toy. So this impacts, and had stories to tell about his own experience with Metro Child in receiving those toys and what it meant to them. Would you like to share any one particular story that stands out? And Lynn, I don't have tissues, so we're just going to have to go with what feels. This is the heart of the nonprofit work that we do, right? But play, and I've been in the children's space nonprofit for 20 years of my career, and Lynn and Lori, just have to say, in that space of building your own, where it comes from the heart and your own experience, the nonprofits I've been involved in have always had a piece of that and heart of it. I've never built it myself, but on the wings of women like yourself. So I would, all of you, I'm sure, and Nancy and Deb, please, your own story of how your work has impacted families and communities. Anyone can start.
Sure. I mean, most recently, we supported a carnival at a domestic violence shelter local to our office. And we were also able to send 10 or 15 of our team members to play games with the kids and to hand out toys. And some of the kids said to some of the volunteers, "This was the best day of my life." And the volunteers in turn said, actually, this was the best day of our lives, because in the end, the giving means so much more to us because we're able to selfishly, right, in the end, feel good about what we're doing. And I think that those are those life-changing moments for all of us, and hopefully for the recipients as well, and for their families, and to be able to see their kids just being kids for a day without any worries.
Thank you.
So when my firstborn son, Henry, was 4.5, we traveled from our home in DC across the country to Minnesota for his bone marrow transplant. And this was back in 2000, before you could just Google, like, what happens in a bone marrow transplant? So we had no idea what to expect. And Henry was a very vivacious kid. He played soccer, he had a girlfriend, he ran around the neighborhood, he was obsessed with Batman. And I walk into his transplant room where he was going to be for 60 days without access to any other kids. And the walls were white, and there were pumps and machines just beeping like incessantly, and strange people just coming in the room who we didn't know. And he was having to get poked and prodded and take 26 meds a day. It was really rough. And I looked around the room and I was like, how is he going to heal here? This is not a place for kids to get better. And we painted a bat signal on his window because he was obsessed with Batman, like calling out to Batman, like, come help us. And I said, Henry, you know what? There's a magic closet in your room. And I bet you if you let them put that IV in, there's going to be a Batman toy for you in that closet. So sure enough, he sticks out his arm and he's like, let's do it, and he gets his IV, and we open the closet, and we take out a Batman figure, and we give it to him. And that magic closet followed us to hospitals from Minnesota to New York to New Jersey to Baltimore to DC and everywhere in between. And after Henry died when he was 7, I thought, I had been working in the affordable housing and community development field, and I just thought, with everything I saw about the importance of the patient experience in helping kids heal, I have got to do something with this experience, something positive for other people. And so we started Hope for Henry. And I challenged my colleagues, one of whom is here today, Carolyn Fung, our national program director, like, how do we bring that magic closet? And using the power of toys and play to help kids heal. How do we bring that to other kids at hospitals all over the country? And that led to the development of our patient incentive programs, like the Super Rewards program that I just shared with you. And, fast forward to 20 years later, and there was a little girl at a hospital in Baltimore, and she had just been diagnosed with cancer, and all she wanted was like a Barbie dream house. And she accrued Hope for Henry bucks for doing all the things that were really hard for her. And when she finished her chemotherapy, she cashed in those bucks for a Barbie dream house. And like the smile on her face was just the same as the smile on Henry's face 20 years earlier when he got his Batman figures. And that is why I do what I do every day. And I know that's why all of my panelists, my colleagues here on this panel do what you do, because again, it's not just running into a toy store and getting the toy you want, which is, by the way, completely awesome. And I might not be a kid, but I still love all that. I love toys. But it's the power behind that toy and the companies that have people who work there who understand that power. That's why you can get your CEO to donate more pallets. But by telling you those stories, it helps you do what you all do, which is to get all the folks here today to donate the toys that they brought with them so that more little people can have their Barbie dream house or their, Squishmallows or their Legos or whatever it is.
Thanks, Lori. And it's great that you looked to Nancy and said pallets. I love that.
I'm on it.
Individual
I'm on
Pallets
it.
is a lot of toys, so we'll take pallets for sure. Lynn, would you like to share?
I should have gone first. Yeah, I appreciate your story and your passion beyond words. I turned my little nightmare into something big, not on any kind of scale as yours, though. So I just really, I'm giving you a hug. I'm gonna cry, just so you know. Oh, it's okay.
I got nothing
I'll
up
be
here.
okay. I do this all the time. So I give, not because I have, because I know what it's like to have nothing. And when I surrendered to being homeless, pregnant, and addicted to drugs and alcohol, I was given one time in treatment, somebody brought me a pillow, and I was so happy. And that was pivotal in my early recovery. And I was in a mother and child treatment program, and it was tough, and it was awful. And I said if I ever got it together, not so pretty, but when I said that, I said if I get it together, I'm going to come back and bring Christmas to these families every year. And so we have been able to do that for the past 26 years. And so many other programs that we've been able to develop, and because our donations have increased, our support has increased, our passion has increased, it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's a beautiful thing. 1 in 5 New Yorkers live in poverty, so we must do more. Not being able to purchase a toy, whether it's a hospital or a shelter or your house burned down, sometimes it's just hard to go and get that one toy that could really change the life of a child. And the smile that you talked about, like I can't imagine anybody that would walk onto the floor of the show and not smile. Like, it is so exciting, whether it's a balloon or a video game or whatever's hot today or tomorrow or even 10 years ago. Like, it is going to bring a smile. We just recently did a huge community baby shower and back to school event, and we wanted to clear out as much of our donations that we had on hand. We don't say surplus ever. And we wanted to make room for, again, all the pallets that we'll be getting. And so we were able to give book bags, supplies, and a toy. And the kids dropped the school supplies, right? And they were standing there and just playing with the toys. There was one little girl who just was happy playing with the bubble machine. She was just so happy with that. But when the one child with this transformer thing just was in the middle of the entire, area, just playing with this, and then his mom pointed to me, and he dropped the toy, and he came and he ran and he hugged me. So I melted and cried. And, and that's why I said, okay, we'll do it again, because it's exhausting and it's hard work, but there is nothing more rewarding than bringing this magic. It's magic to a child, and it trickles up. It's for the entire family. It's for the entire family, and the people in the business, the people in the corporate world, and the people in the social service industry. It's pride and joy for them as well. It's magic.
Thank you so much for sharing, Lynn. Nancy, I know you have many stories. Would you like to
Well,
share one?
I mean, yes, I could go on and on, of course, right? But I love hearing both of your stories, so thank you for sharing. And I think we all know, even more so now today with all the different platforms that we have to tell our stories, that everybody has one. And it's important, to reach out and learn about someone's story and help in any way. I think I always think about the trajectory. If I could just follow one child that I hand a toy to and see throughout their whole life how that might change them, is what keeps us going forever. And we just celebrated quickly, and I see Sarah in the audience, and you're going to remember when we launched a very special doll through the Barbie brand, and it was 10 years ago, and we named her Ella, friend of Barbie. Back then, she came packaged. In package with no hair and accessories, and we had specific partners that we donated to. This wasn't for retail, it was a donated product that Mattel created, first time ever, and it went to little girls that were experiencing hair loss due to treatment. And that is an incredible, incredible journey for so many kids and families. I lost my mother when I was a 9-year-old girl, and I would have loved to have been able to at least have that doll to even experience what she might be going through. So to be a part of the company that gets to distribute these, now 2017, Ella is not just a friend of Barbie, but she is Barbie. And so we continue to distribute over 100,000 dolls to kids. I would love to be able to share those with you. She's very special. But it's, again, in your products and working for a company like Mattel that will go ahead and make a doll for donation only that serves a specific group of kids that need our help. That just is what keeps me going.
Thank you so much, Nancy. We only have a few minutes left, so I just wanted to open it up to anyone in the audience that wanted to ask any of our panelists any questions. No questions, don't be shy. Well, do you need a palette of toys? Can we, or do you want to give us a palette of toys?
Exactly.
We're all here for you. Well, listen, I want to thank all four of you. Just Jazzwares Cares is such a strong partner. Deb, we really appreciate all your support, and Sarah in the audience sits on our board of directors, so committed. Nancy with the Mattel Foundation, we would not be able to do what we do without your support. Nancy has stood up on a stage Friday night at our Toady Awards and challenged the crowd to match Mattel's contribution, and that's to support our program. So grateful to you. And really, Lynne and Lori, new friends of ours, and we see the work that you're doing and how important it is. So we're going to keep pushing the Jazzwares and Mattels of the world to bring more product to you and raise more money for hospital programs. Lori, we're right there with you. It's such an important program, and we're raising money ongoing for that program. And Lynne, you're here to gather toys too with your volunteers, so we know the impact and appreciate all four of you. Tissue time for sure, but this is such an amazing way to kind of end our time at Toy Fair, but now it starts with collections. So thank you all for being here. We appreciate it. There's a few minutes left off the stage if we can be of any support and answer any questions for you. Thank you.